As the new year closes out and the WikiLeaks saga shifts, as I've outlined in a blog post, from the content of WikiLeaks' releases to the content of Julian Assange's underpants, there is someone that many are forgetting. I'm referring to the alleged whistleblower, Army intelligence analyst Bradley Manning. I could flash around pictures, I could change it to close-ups of Sarah Palin's face, but instead, like Bradley, you will see this solitary confinement. For this brief moment in time, you will likely be bored visually out of your brain by such an unchanging picture. Any normal person would. Bradley Manning has observed such a picture for the past 7 months, 23 hours out of every day, spent inside a cell similar to this one. Since his entering detention, Manning has been a model prisoner. He has not been charged with any crime yet. Yet he was declared a maximum custody detainee from the beginning and also denied trivial items such as pillows and sheets, items usually denied to people who are put on suicide watch. But Bradley has not been put on suicide watch. As Glenn Greenwald points out in his article on Salon.com, the conditions that he are being held in are inhumane, personality erasing, soul destroying, and insanity inducing. Solitary confinement of this nature slows down a person's ability to think, to comprehend, to function normally as human beings do, given that we are very social creatures. A March 2010 article in the Journal of the American Academy of Psychiatry and the Law explains that solitary confinement is recognized as difficult to withstand, and stresses such as isolation can be as clinically distressing as physical torture. This type of torture does not leave physical marks, but it does not make it any less torture. Several media articles around the internet already are discussing how the US will get to Julian Assange, and legally the pathways that have a fraction of a chance at succeeding involve, unsurprisingly, Bradley Manning. Like many in solitary, he is now being supplied with antidepressants to try to limit the psychological effects of this torture. But how many of you would tolerate being isolated in this way without even being charged? It is not an outlandish question to ask. Bradley Manning is not a convicted murderer who has harmed other prisoners and been put in solitary. He isn't in solitary to protect him from other prisoners either. He's in there basically to be tortured until he says the right thing. There exists those who believe he may deserve this, but it only takes a moment to look up why he did it. In published chats, Manning says, "I want people to see the truth, regardless of who they are, because without information, you cannot make informed decisions as a public." He then notes he could have sold them easily and made bank, but he realized what he was doing was not something that he wished to blindly ignore. This happened when he was working on a case of Iraqi insurgents who were distributing propaganda. But this propaganda turned out to be scholarly critique of those in power and following the trail of corruption in Iraq. He saw that the US was basically trying to get rid of all resistance, be it violent or otherwise. His words aren't the words or motives of anyone that even the most ridiculous pro-torture supporters would think torture would be justified in using on. We are told only the oppressive regimes use torture and that it is abominable. But what does this show about the behaviour of this government? This just makes it harder for anyone to bring the courage forth to blow the whistle on any corruption, knowing that they can even not be charged and then just thrown in solitary under conditions meant to torture your mind. It creates a climate of fear and intimidation, just like those that exist in the countries we so despise. As trivial as it may seem given his situation, I will still say, Merry Christmas to you, Bradley Manning.